Fiona has done some bit of introduction of me. Unfortunately or fortunately, I didn't know how she was dressing up, but I realized she's dressing up in my colors, and I don't know why, but we shall find out. My name is Harrison Mulinde. I'm a teacher by profession. To be more specific, I'm a math teacher. I'm a mathematician. I love math. I also love cars. Where is Uncle Ben? Hello, Uncle Ben. Yeah. I love cars very much, and I transact in them. I actually just sold one to a friend today morning. I love cars. I'm married. Very married. My name is Harrison Mulinde Adieri. How many Batoro? Any Mutoro? Ah, okay. I'm not a Mutoro, but my wife is. She has given me so far 3 very beautiful girls, and I've been married coming to 8 years. She cannot be able to come because she's very heavy. Me, I'm an African man. I don't joke with these things. She's very heavy, and we're expecting a 4th very soon. And we shall see how it goes. Yes. Fiona gave me 30 minutes, and I'm going to use them very, very well and very productively. Now, because I'm a teacher, I am not very good at monotony. I'm not very good on one-sided conversations. I'm going to be giving you just flashes of what to talk about very soon. Unfortunately, I'm going to use a technique we use in early years. I am a teacher. I've been an international school teacher since 2012. Started with Aga Khan. So I've been with the GCSEs, and I've taught so far in about 7 curriculums, different curriculums. Right now, I'm the head of secondary, Maryland International. It's in Entebbe. It's a new school. I'm helping the owner build it from scratch. This secondary. So I'm going to use a technique when I'm discussing that is usually used. It's very, very effective in schools, especially for kindergarten and primary. It's called having talking buddies. Rather than have people put up their hands and the shy ones not put up their hands, I'll give you moments to talk as buddies, and then I'll be selecting randomly what I want. Are we getting each other? Yeah? Now, the topic today is parenting in this digital age. I have what I call, daily I make parenting tips, and I put them on my status. Soon I'm going to produce a book, and thus far I think I'm on about 67. And I keep doing that. So I'll share my number such that if you can add me on WhatsApp, you can always keep following on my stats. Every day I put something. But today I'm going to hit on something called parenting in this digital age. Now I'm going to give you 1 minute to discuss my first question as we go on. I'm going to give you about 40 seconds to discuss with your buddy. A talking buddy is your neighbor, your closest neighbor. If at all you're 3, you can discuss 3. If at all you're 2, very well. If at all you're 1, move. Yes. So my first question is this. And I will select about 2 people or 3 to give us their answers. And with your talking buddy, just tell me 2 things you love. 2 things you love. With your talking buddy, I'm giving you 40 seconds. 2 things you love, and I'll 2 things you love. And I'm going to call people randomly. And then they give me that. 40 seconds. Talking buddies, I now want 3 people I'm going to select. You people are very beautiful. I'm trying to select the beautiful ladies, but I'm not going to invite all of you. That is the problem now. Okay? I'm going to invite this lady in a very beautiful Kitenji. Please. You can stay where you are. And then I'm also going to get an answer from my very beautiful Hajati here. And then I'll get an answer. Now I want a man. Yes, sir. There is a guy with a very nice beard like mine. Yes, sir. That one smiling. Please, I want you to just tell me 2 things that you've discussed with your buddy. Learning and sharing. Thank you very much. Children. Thank you very much. Clap for these guys. Many a times in my classes, no answer is wrong. Okay? However, I'm going to tell you this. This is where parenting problems begin. I'm not saying any of your answers are wrong. They are all right. But that is where the parenting problem what begins. You will notice that every answer everyone has given has nothing like myself. No one of you mentioned their self. And it breaks my heart every time when I ask people what they love and they never mention themselves. And that is where parenting problems begin. Even in this digital age. every time you cannot, this is how your children, and I'm not blaming any child, I'm not going to blame parents, but this is why children manipulate you into fitting into society of today. Because these children tell, you know what, because you do not love yourself enough, you're easily manipulated. I want you to quote me very, very well. I loved something Coach talked about towards the end, where she talked about people cannot use you to against you. They cannot objectify you and start by abusing you this, and then you feel bad. Personally, before I became born again in 2021. I was an Adventist before. Before I became a born again, and I was still there, if at all I could get into an argument or a quarrel with someone, I'll start like this. First of all, I know I'm short. So I'll first of all kill your insult towards me before I start on you. Are you getting my point? So I'll always acknowledge my weaknesses before I come for yours. So you look for what to attack me with and you do not have. I've taken it all away. The biggest problem we have today is that many parents do not love themselves enough. You do not even consider yourself your own priority. How are you going to consider your child a priority if at all you don't consider yourself a priority? If at all you love yourself enough, you look at all the mistakes you did growing up. You ask yourself, if at all I love myself enough, would I have wanted to move at midnight when I was 10 or when I was 15? Would you have loved that for yourself? Then you'll tell your child you cannot move at that what? Time. If you love yourself, that is where your parenting is going to start. If you love yourself enough, and I'm going to be categorical, I'm not going to point hands or anything. Many of you, if not all, at least I can speak for myself, but many of us here have been possibly perhaps an addict or have used things like porn. Are we together? Or have watched pornography. Or have enjoyed something about nakedness or whatever it is. If you love yourself enough, you would never want your child to watch that. So you'll do anything such that they do not watch it. I don't know whether we are together. The most important thing is loving yourself. One of the reasons as to why these ladies here are misused or mishandled by men is because you don't even love yourself enough. Many a times, boys or guys are also mishandled by women because we do not love ourselves enough. When I love my children, I love them so much, but not as much as I love myself. And that I have to tell you the truth. I can lay my life for them, not because I love them so much, but I wouldn't live with myself if I lost one. It's but myself. I don't know whether you get my point. You get my point? Now, I love my very much. She's very beautiful. Of course, she's very beautiful. But there is one thing I can assure you. I love myself enough. That is why you see, I gave myself. There are things that I could do. There are things that you could have done, but you don't do them because you love yourself enough. We know very well what the Bible talks about. These are sins that are even against your flesh and all that. You choose not to do them because you love yourself enough. I don't know whether you get my point, and we are moving in the right direction, yeah? Now, many a times we have messed up on parenting, even in this digital age, because we don't love ourselves enough. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you love, if at all I've taken you out for dinner, or if at all we are out for dinner, or if at all you're at the dining table and you're with your husband and you're trying to tell them how your day was, would you love to talk to your husband when he's on his phone? Why do you then expect your child to love you? What do you want your child to grow up seeing? Now, in this digital age, there is one thing I'm going to tell you. You're not going to stop children from using these gadgets. I always laugh. I will not say in a mocking way, but I always laugh at parents who say, now I've taken away everything and What are you saying? Have you taken away your neighbor's gadgets? Have you taken away their uncle's gadgets? Have you taken away their school's gadgets? How many of you learned everything from home? You started learning some of these things from school. In dormitories, isn't it? Some of you learned a lot of the nasty in the where are your parents are not. So the most important thing here, and that is the one bothering us, is thinking that taking away means no. And you see, this is what it is. You cannot control someone. The only person you can control is what? Yourself. That is why you see, you can sit with someone and you stay with them and you laugh, you even share a bed, you even get children with them and you hate them so much. You get the point? I always love yesterday, and even today morning when I was listening to Pastor Tom, I usually go to MCF. When I was listening to him, I like the statement he usually uses. He says, "Omubiri tegulokoka, moyo gwe gulokoka." Your body, because it's going even to remain here anyway, your body will never stop yearning. Are we getting each other? But it's your spirit that you can what? Now, the biggest challenge we have today with parenting in this digital age is parents, you don't love yourselves enough. And it is very important that you love yourself enough. I don't care how much you have, that you can make me feel bad about myself. Before you give birth to the children I have, you even don't know how much energy I invest even in bringing them up, by the way. You cannot. Are we getting each other? You cannot. So I am who I am and I respect it. Are we together? Now there is a very thin line between pride and self-respect. And sometimes we fail to know that line. But as a parent in this generation, we need to understand that as bad as digitalization is going, and it is getting worse. Are we getting each other? We grew up whereby having a phone with Bluetooth was posh. Right now, really? In fact, by the time I was at campus, having a flash disk was a very big deal. That guy has a flash disk. And you could even get a girlfriend for a flash disk, by the way. These guys know. These guys know. Are we together? But right now, things are getting out of hand. Okay? The phones people are using. So you're not going to stop your kid from using the gadgets, from digitalizing their life, but you're going to have to love yourself enough so that you give them what you feel you guide them in the best way you would have wanted to guide you when you were young. I've already used almost 15 minutes. I'm going to go to the second question. Me, I'm a very good timekeeper. Very good timekeeper. As much as I'm going to go to the second one. Again, buddies, I'm giving you 30 seconds. Don't talk to your wife, Ivan. Talk to this gentleman. Olivia, get some other person. I don't want you to talk to people you know. You talk these things in the evening. Talk to someone there. Now, I'm going to ask a question. Again, talking buddies, about 30 seconds. Why do you educate your child? Why do you educate? I know your children are in schools. Why are you putting your children in schools? I just want one reason. Again, talking buddies, 30 seconds. Why do you educate your children? All right, I'm going to ask the gentleman discussing with Ivan. He's going to give me an answer. I'm going to ask another lady in pink, yes, to give me their answer. And I'm going to ask another person, madam there, just right behind. Yes, that one, she smiles very well. Hey, I'm going to ask her to also give me. Yes, sir. I'll start with this lady. Yes. Why do you put your child to school? What are the skills that they may need now? Very good, very intelligent. Yes, sir. The third answer. Why do you educate your child? Prove their skills. Clap for yourselves, you guys. Next time, Fiona, you tell me I'm going to talk to very intelligent people. This thing of bringing me. Thank you very much. Every answer you've talked about is very correct. Now, me, I'm going to give you my reason as to why I educate my children, or actually I teach your children, because I said I'm a what? A teacher. The reason as to why I teach your children, reason as to why I educate my children is for one simple reason. I only put my children in school such that they can sit at every table. That's the reason I put my children in school. To sit at every what? Table. I had never dreamt that I'll ever be in a room with Coach Hilda. I've never dreamt that I'll be in the same room with Fiona. I know here we have CEOs. We even have Igwes here who can start splashing me money just because you don't allow. But they would have shown you. But the reason as to why I'm here is because I have been chanced to at everyone. Now let me tell you something. And I'm not mocking anyone. I'm not saying anything against anyone. There can be a billionaire or a millionaire somewhere in Chikuba who comes going to school, and that is good. Are we getting each other? And there can be a Fiona somewhere, a Harrison somewhere. Are we together? And we end up in a situation whereby Donald Trump is going to come in Uganda or whoever it is. And believe me, when they are choosing someone to sit or to make the person move around, it will not be that rich man. Are you getting my point? In this generation, when you teach your child to sit at every table, When you do it purposefully, you are in some way controlling how they behave. Fiona from my place, I was there taking pictures with Noop and doing what? Holding up so many guns or whatever it is, or the lot of content that are going around, I'm very sure I wouldn't be here. Sitting on every table is not just sitting with Sudil, sitting with everyone. Personally, at my workplace or wherever I go, people wonder. You'll find me having a conversation with the chef, find me having a conversation with the cleaner, with the CEO, and I will not be timid, and I will not be shaken. I will relate with them the way I relate with everyone else. Are you getting my point? Now, the biggest challenge today is that as parents, we've put ourselves in situations whereby we believe that I want my child to become a doctor. Are we getting each other? But you see the challenge with Warren Buffett and the Sudils, and those guys are not doctors. They are not engineers. We actually have very broke engineers, and we have very rich engineers. But it's all about how they were tailored. Now, in this information age, as a parent, it is up to you. We have seen people, one of my favorite actresses, one of these days is called, how many of you have watched Blackish? Blackish, that sitcom. Yes, one of my favorite actresses is that young girl. She's called, I think, Kenya? No, she's called Masai Martin. Thank you very much. Masai Martin. Masai Martin started acting when she was 5. Her parents moved to the US. She started working in Blackish at I think 8. And at 13, she directed her own movie, Little. She's the youngest director in Hollywood history, and she's a black, this skin. She's even blacker than me. I'm even light, by the way. I don't know why she doesn't bleach. But she is very dark. And but when she was talking, when she was being asked, one of the challenges she faces one of the challenges, even with the millions I have, is my parents waking me up every day to go to school. Her parents still take her to school. Thank you for getting the money. But if at all you get the money, and we've seen people even here in Uganda, I cannot name names, but we've seen people who end up with billions, and because they didn't go to school, they even don't know what to. Are we getting each other? And let's put this to perspective. 1 billion Uganda shillings, if you didn't know. Let me help you with the math, because I'm a mathematician, and a good one, by the way. 1 billion shillings, if at all you were spending 1 million every day, and I'm eating 1 million, that would mean sleeping in Serena, eating whatever I have and doing everything. If at all you were spending 1 million shillings every day to finish 1 billion, you would require 2.5 years. Now, imagine someone who is there and you end up with 10, 15, 20 billion. Are you getting each other? That means that to finish 10 billion, if at all I'm never working again, I'm spending 1 million a day, I would need 25 what? Yes, now the problem is that one of these days, we are facing this challenge. We are tailoring our children into becoming professions, not into becoming people who can sit everywhere. When you are being tailored to sit everywhere, you become very selective of content you take in, very careful who you surround your children with. And if you become that careful, you will notice toxic people. You will notice relatives whose places you don't go to, and I'm not even ashamed to say that. There are relatives where if you visit, you don't come with your children. There are relatives where you cannot leave your children if at all you're going for a honeymoon. Are we getting each other? And there are reasons, and we're not going to get into that. But as I finish, because I can see time is not on my side, I have about 15 minutes. As I finish, I'm going to tell you this. As a parent, I had this discussion two days ago with my brother, and with so many people sometimes I meet. As a parent, in this digital generation, you're supposed to launch your child's life. Do not stop this nonsense of I've educated my child, my friend. People are having first classes and looking for jobs and they're not getting them. And even if they get them, but at what expense? People have been hit on, girls have been touched inappropriately, and as a child protector, I know, because I've seen these things. I talk to children every day, young and adult people who are struggling with this. Now listen, you have to launch your child's life. This business of Akina self-made, let me just give you one. Self-made billionaires, that nonsense doesn't work. And I cannot even take that word back. Now let me tell you this. Bill Gates, let me give you an example. Bill Gates' mother was sitting on the board of IBM. and she tailored his first contract as a computer, whatever, genius. That is Bill Gates. Her mother was sitting on the board of IBM. Let me go to Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, when he had his dream, his parents launched his career with $300,000. That's over $1 billion. He had where to start from. I want you to get me very well. Another billionaire we call self-made, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is the son of a congressman with an investment company. Be there. The other one is Elon Musk. Elon Musk's father owned an emerald mine in apartheid South Africa. The father owned a mine. Do you know what it means for your father to have a sand chirombe in the village? That's a lot of money. Sand, isn't it? Even of stones, isn't it so? But this guy is for minerals. And these are guys who get microphones and says, me, I started from which scratch? What scratch? And in this digital generation, I'm going to repeat. Parents, you're going to have to launch your child's life. It may not be only with finances. I want my child to start a life whereby, because this is a world with the Fionas, with everyone here, and eventually they shall meet. Are you getting me? Now, when I tailor I may be able to you. How am I going to handle my children such that they can be able to do the same? To meet people and actually be interactive. I don't know whether you get my point. So for me, that is why many people, for example, and it's not only Fiona, but many people always have even asked me whether I ever spank my children. They say, you guy, you love your children. Do you even ever beat them? Visit and see. I just visit. I am a very loving but also very firm dad. My girl of 7, I know, and I told them, I made this rule at home. I told them, I don't wake up at 5:30 because they go by van. I put my phone's alarm on the table in the sitting room. They wake themselves up. She wakes up her younger sister who she goes with, who's 5. They come to my bathroom. They shower themselves because each of them can shower. They only wake me up to escort them to the van. That is the only. Are you getting my point? They made wake up, make their breakfast. They'll go shower. They'll dress up. They'll take their breakfast. And they'll say, Daddy, we are finished. Whenever the van lady calls you, I just escort them to the van. That is what it is. I don't know whether you get my point. And I love my children. But I'm not going to sacrifice 5:30 to 6. No. Let them also study. I also studied. Yes, I also studied. It's time to sleep, isn't it? As I end, I'm saying this as parents. In this generation, where digitalization has taken off, the problem is not the internet. That internet has a lot of good content. Help your children learn how to use the internet. During COVID, most of your children were doing online. Why didn't you abuse internet when you were studying online? What happened? Internet will not go anywhere. Are you getting my point? But how you tailor your children, your home ethics, your home, how you nurture them, have your home rules that you do not bend at. Children are very manipulative creatures because everyone is. We love to manipulate, but when someone is firm, my children know that I have one simple rule whenever one of them cries. And I always tell them, no one has ever drowned in their tears. I've never heard of someone. Have you ever heard of someone drowning in tears? You cry, you stop, and we move on. Isn't it so? Do not be manipulated into going extra miles to break your things that you would have done for yourself just because a child wants it. If I told you don't advise yourself to have a boyfriend, you wouldn't advise yourself to have had a boyfriend at 13. What are you allowing? What are you allowing? Then after you'll start disturbing coaches and counselors that my child, what? Draw your parameters. Help them in this world. You're not going to stop things from going as they should. They will still go that way. You only have to do one thing to help your child grow up in this generation in the most respectable way. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.